Good evening. Deer hunters are being sighted, an update on the Jasper mayoral election, and an inform that you don't want to miss. And of course, your local stories, sports, and weather are all coming up here on the 18 WJTS News. This is the 18 WJTS News. Good evening, I am Charlotte Olson. Right now we're going to hear a word from Bill Potter as he tells us the latest on the Jasper mayoral election.
Thank you, Charlotte. The recount is now complete and the historical race for the office of Mayor of Jasper, for now, has been decided. Due to what was ruled a clerical error on one questionable ballot, incumbent Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz has been ruled the winner of the November 3rd Jasper mayoral election and will serve 4 more years as the city's leader. Earlier today, attorneys representing Seitz and Democratic challenger Wayne Sheeter pleaded their cases in regards to 4 questionable votes discovered during Monday's vote recount that took place in the Pfaffenreiler room at Jasper City Hall, and should those votes be included in the race total. Those arguments were heard by the Election Recount Commission that consisted of Republican Representative Mayoral Osterman, Art Nordhoff, the Democratic representative, and Jefferson County Clerk Karen Mannix, who served as the mechanic. During the hearing in the Dubois County Courthouse's Superior Courtroom, a vote previously counted in favor of Sheeter from Bainbridge 6S was thrown out during today's hearing. Sheeter's attorney, David Groth, says the commission determined that the ballot, which was absentee, was excluded because it was not properly initialed during the November election by both watchers.
What happened at the end is the critical ballot that would have made the difference was not counted simply because, even though it was clearly a Sheeter vote, but it only had one initial rather than 2 initials, the commission decided, based on Indiana law, not to count it. So that particular voter ended up being disenfranchised.
In the election process, under Indiana law, the watchers are required to both initial the ballot in order to certify that the person making the selection was the voter themselves. Today, the Recount Commission ruled that was not the case. As a result, the commission ruled that for that reason, that Seitz will continue to serve as the mayor of Jasper by a total of 1,856 to 1,855 votes. Seitz's attorney, David Brooks, concurred that by Indiana statute, the vote in question needed to be disallowed.
At the very end, there was one that did not have 2 clerk's initials. So the statute is very clear, and the Indiana Supreme Court has been very clear that on a ballot card like that, that's an absentee, it has to have 2 initials, and there was only 1.
Seitz, who was first elected as Jasper's mayor in 2012, was not present during today's proceedings. However, the mayor issued a statement to the media shortly after the ruling was announced. Seitz says he was thoroughly honored and delighted to be re-elected mayor and noted respect for Special Judge Dean Sobecki and all members of the Recount Commission for the job they performed in accordance to Indiana law. Seitz extended his best to Sheeter and said he expects him to continue to serve as his appointee to the Jasper Utility Service Board. Sheeter left the courtroom after the ruling was announced and was not available for comment. Although Indiana state law required that the recount must be concluded by this Sunday, December 20th, an announcement may be made early next week of whether or not he will appeal today's ruling. Charlotte, back to you.
Thanks, Bill. Another step has been taken to turn Bennett Hall, a vacant building owned by the Sisters of St. Benedict of Ferdinand, into an affordable senior housing apartment, as an agreement has been finalized with the Sinair Corporation as an investor acquiring the tax credits for the project. A key part of this funding for Bennett Hall's renovation came through tax credits granted last February by the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. Sinair will receive tax credits of over $411,000 each year for 10 years for a total of over $4.1 million. Renovation of the facility is expected to begin in January with a target date for opening the senior housing by November of 2016. The project will make available 15 apartments, and monthly rent will be priced in compliance with affordable rates for senior citizens as set by the state. Greg Eckerly, a spokesperson with the Sisters of St. Benedict, calls the move a huge lift for the organization and the Ferdinand community.
It helps the sisters because it's another step in getting a use for one of our vacant buildings. It'll help us economically. Of course, it will also help the town of Ferdinand through the fact that it'll be affordable housing for seniors. I think there's a need for that, so it helps the sisters get a use for their building, and it helps the town of Ferdinand opening up some more places for seniors to live.
Stenair Corporation, formerly known as Great Lakes Capital Fund, is a community development financial institution headquartered in Lansing, Michigan, with a satellite location in Indianapolis. The firm has been in operation for 22 years and has collection in 7 states. Eckerly says corporations from the town of Ferdinand played a key role in the process of this development.
We did get a lot of help from the city of Ferdinand going through some steps that were necessary to make the tax credits available. The town of Ferdinand helped a lot, accelerating some things to get them done quicker than normal. And there's been a lot of help along the way, and hopefully the renovation will start in January, and it'll be open for people to move in by next November.
Bennett Hall at 821 Bennett Drive on the grounds of the Monastery of Immaculate Conception in Ferdinand was a former residence for the sisters. Acting on a tip received from deer hunters, conservation officers with the Indiana Department of Transportation have teamed up with Crawford County Sheriff's deputies and other law enforcement agencies this week in a large-scale investigation that netted 4 arrests on theft and drug charges. While checking deer hunters on November the 14th, an Indiana conservation officer received a tip concerning multiple burglaries that had happened and occurred in and around Crawford County. That tip ultimately led authorities to the home of 46-year-old Joseph Dearborn of Tazewell, where officers say that they found stolen items including a tractor, 3 ATVs, and a generator. They also say that methamphetamine and paraphernalia were recovered from the home. Following the search, police say that Dearborn, along with 59-year-old Ricky Gray, 52-year-old Scott Froman, and 35-year-old TJ Thomas Lester, all of Eckerly, were arrested, and they face multiple charges that include burglary, theft, and drug possession. Police say that multiple search warrants followed the arrest, and Indiana conservation officers, Crawford County Sheriff's deputies, and troopers with the Indiana State Police located additional stolen items and vehicles, as well as methamphetamine and paraphernalia at the other suspects' residences. To date, police say that 21 burglaries and/or thefts dating back to April of this year have been connected with these suspects. Recovered items include 3 ATVs, 2 motor vehicles, one of which was stolen from Georgia, 2 tractors, multiple stolen power tools, road signs, fishing equipment, and other personal items, some of which authorities say have been returned to their rightful owners. Assisting agencies included the Crawford County Sheriff's Department, Orange County Sheriff's Department, Indiana State Police, and English Town Marshals. Police say that the case remains under investigation and additional arrest and stolen item recoveries are expected. Anyone with information concerning this investigation is encouraged to contact Indiana Conservation Officers Central Dispatch at 812-837-9536 or the Crawford County Sheriff's Department at 812-338-3616. The top official of a Jasper furniture manufacturer has decided to step down from his position. Yesterday, Indiana Furniture Industries announced the resignation of company president and CEO Brett Ackerman. A company news release said that Ackerman resigned to assume other duties with the company. Ackerman has been a part of the Indiana Furniture for the past 19 years, serving as the company's chief financial officer before being named the company president in 2010. In tendering his resignation, Ackerman stated that he felt the company would be better served by a leader with a fresh perspective and focus to achieve its aggressive vision for the growth and market presence. Indiana Furniture Industries Board Phil Schneider says that Ackerman will remain as the company's interim CEO until a successor can be found. DuBois County Surveyor Kenneth Brosmer is planning to seek another 4 years on the job. The 55-year-old Brosmer announced yesterday that he is running for re-election. He has been the county surveyor since January of 1993 and a licensed surveyor. Kenny started Brosmer Land Surveying Incorporated in 1990 and sold the business in 2013. A 1979 graduate of Jasper High School, Brosmer received a bachelor's degree in land surveying from Purdue University in 1983. He is a member of the Indiana Society of Professional Land Surveyors and the Indiana County Surveyors Association. In 1997, he was named Outstanding County Surveyor in Indiana. He is a past member of the Board of Directors of the Du Bois County Museum and a member of St. Joseph Catholic Church, Ireland Knights of Columbus, Redevelopment Old Jasper Action Coalition, Ireland Historical Society, and the Du Bois County Purdue Alumni Club. In 2006, he was named a member of the Jasper High School Alumni of Distinction, and Brosmer's hobbies include golf, hiking, forestry, and restoring old log houses and barns. He and other volunteers collaborated to reconstruct the Schaefer Barn along the Jasper Riverwalk and the log house in the County Museum. In a news release, Brosmer says that he looks forward to continuing the work of marking all of the corners in the county with GPS locations, as well as traditional marking descriptions. He says few Indiana counties have started marking corners with GPS locations and that over 70% of the work in Du Bois County is complete. Brosmer and his wife Ann are the parents of 2 grown children. Up next, we're going to take a look at your weather summary.